Hello and welcome to Okay, I Said Too Much podcast. Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Okay, I Said Too Much podcast. I'm super excited for this week because we are on episode 10. I can't believe I made it 10 episodes without getting bored. No, if you know anything about me, I'm a Sagittarius, and we like to start a lot of hobbies and then not finish them. So it's just, bad vibes. But we did this because I love this. I was on the phone with my friend earlier and I was like, this is my baby. My podcast is my baby. We're on episode 10, and this episode's going to be a little bit different because I am taking a break. At the end of this, I want to say for like a month and a half. Like I won't be back until May, but I'm not sure. I might get bored and then come back before then. I might have so much to say that I have to come back or something's going to happen and I have to talk about it. But there's just a lot of logistics that I'm trying to figure out for our next step. I want to constantly make this better for my listeners and for me. I want this to continue to get better. So I just need a break. I want to pre-plan some episodes. I want to pre-record episodes. There's trending topics, sections that I could potentially do. If I have a guest on, I want to be able to have time to record like my weekly update and then trending topic and then the guest segment and then go from there. So like I said, I'm just constantly trying to find ways to improve what we have going on here. So I need like a month to do that, at least a month. I am buying a second mic. So I need to test that out, make sure that's good. There's just a lot going on in the Okay, I Said Too Much universe, but I will still be posting to like Instagram, TikToks, Reels, all that. So I'm going to link all the social media below, and I will tell you at the end of the podcast. So you have to stay around to the end. I did not plan this episode today. We're just talking. It's going to be like a chit-chatty episode. I'm going to do 3 trending topics that did not make the cut this season and what I've learned. We're going to do like a little what I've learned recap. So I'm super excited. But first, before all of that, let's get into our weekly update. Like always, exciting news. My Saturn return is over. I'm out of the clear. Not all the way because Saturn moved into the Pisces. And then, okay, I'm gonna give you a little astrology lesson for the podcast today. So I was born in 1993. Saturn usually stays in a sign for 3 years at a time, and it takes about 36 years for it to do a full cycle because there's 12 signs. Aquarius is the second to last. My Saturn is an Aquarius. Saturn moved into Aquarius March of 2020. That tells you anything about how life was going March of 2020. It officially moved into a Pisces March 7th, 2023. I should be in the clear, Saturn returns over. Wrong. Sorry to my headphone users, but I go back and stabilize all the sound. So that wrong was still really loud. Sorry on my editing side. Saturn moved into Pisces this week, and I'm a mutable sign, Sagittarius. The mutable signs are Virgo, Sagittarius, Gemini, Pisces. Yeah, that's it. Well, my big 3 is Sagittarius, I'm a Gemini rising, and a Pisces moon. So I'm still going to be feeling the effects of Saturn being in Pisces, even though my Saturn return is over. So love that for me. But as part of my weekly update, I'm kind of like semi-TikTok famous now. I'm just kidding. I only have 222 followers, but I have 2 baby viral tweets right now. They're baby, not tweets, TikToks. They're baby viral TikToks right now. But I put one up and it's like a screaming in the background. And I was like, when your Saturn returns over, but you're a mutable sign and Saturn went into Pisces. But I got a lot of good tips from everybody on that TikTok. Like the girlies were very useful on that TikTok. And they were basically just like, Saturn's about karmic debts, just if you're being honest with people around you and honest with yourself. I saw so many people say be honest with yourself during this time period. That should be fine. And I think I'm definitely in that point in life where I'm just like being brutally honest with myself and brutally honest with the people around me. So I think I'm good. Fingers crossed. My other viral tweet that I had was tweet. Why do I keep saying tweet? They're not tweets. They're TikToks. My other viral TikTok was my Scandal one. As y'all know, I rewatched Scandal. I feel like I was definitely promoting watching Scandal. I was promoting watching it, and I think you should, but I feel like I always forget watching it the second time around. It's only good until season 4. If I could go in my head and erase that show and watch it over again, I would enjoy it all the way to the end, but it's only good till season 4. So basically the TikTok was like, this girl was like, what are storylines that could be erased from Scandal? And I had good ones. That one's at like 14K views, or like, yeah, I think they're both at like 14K views. Both of those baby viral TikToks. So gotta go follow me on TikTok, y'all. When I blow up, don't say I didn't warn you. As I said before, for this episode, we're doing 3 trending topics that did not make the cut. So let's go ahead and get into our trending topics this week. So for the trending topics, I'm going to go one by one on why these trending topics did not make the cut for this season. The first one is a touchy one, and that's exactly why it didn't make the cut. I feel like when you start talking about religion, it's a touchy subject to a lot of people. I have said this in past episodes. When you really start to research everything, it either goes back to somehow being like racism, slavery, or it's just bad. I don't know why that is, but if you don't know, these churches have like sprouted everywhere. These like come on churches. They're huge into music. Music is their thing. Music is how they get people in the door. Like that is their thing, is music. They're big. They usually have really big social media followings and pages like that. Like they try to make religion like new age for the kids, you know? And they really try to stress that like, come on. They try to get a diverse group of people in their church. Well, there's a podcast that I listen to. Let me grab the name of that podcast for you guys. I love how I can edit because I can like take a pause in here and you guys will never know. You guys will never even know that I even had this whole conversation with myself. So there's a podcast called Heaven Bent. It is on Apple Podcasts. I'm sure it's everywhere. And they basically talk about the origins of like it's called Hillsong Church. Okay. If you haven't heard about Hillsong Church, it's been in the news recently for certain things, or not in the news, but a lot of TikTokers have came out and they've been like, I escaped Hillsong. Like it's basically a cult. This podcast more goes into like the origins of these church, how they got into music, just like how they kind of sprouted and grew the way they did, and just the origins of this church are crazy. Oddly enough, it comes from Canada. And so basically a preacher went down. He saw Southern Baptist churches, black churches, and how they use music and all that. And like he was like, wow, like they got a lot of people in the door. How do they do this? The answer was music. Okay. So he took that back, and then, you know, back in those Southern Baptist church, what they do, catch the Holy Ghost, music, all that, and he used that to basically build up his own church. These churches you see today are just evangelical churches. They're evangelicals. I'm gonna burst your bubble on these really nice churches. They're all rooted in like super conservative Republican beliefs, and you're like, okay, that makes sense. Churches, cool, yeah. No. So basically what happens is one big guy gets a big church, and then he has a couple people under him. They make smaller churches, and then they have a couple guys under them. They go make smaller churches, and then they basically accumulate all this money from that. Do you want to know where this money goes? Well, if you're wondering how Roe v. versus Wade was overturned, that's where that money goes. If you've been wondering why all of a sudden there are doing all this anti-trans legislation in the media and in the government right now, that's where that money goes. That's what those churches support. The big guys at the top are just funneling money into Republican Party. I always say I know how my listeners vote. I mean, if you're listening to a Black woman podcast, I would assume you would know I'm like complete opposite of all of that. So when you see these people online, their presence online is like what gets people, and that's kind of how they attract people in. I saw a TikTok of a girl that was like, yeah, I was at Hillsong and I thought I was in music school. So that's like literally how they get you. There's so many people who've went on podcasts and like they're a cult, and they make you like do certain work for them, and that's like the biggest sign of a cult is like when they start making you do work for the community, for the greater good of everybody in the church. Cult. Okay, just so you know. Do you remember, if you're on TikTok, when it's like, what would it take for you to join a cult? Nothing. Because you know what sucks about cult is there's always some like terrible like sexual misconduct that goes on. I don't know about these churches. I'm not saying this happened at these churches, but when you like look at cults, some weird sexually is always going on. No, I'm not fucking this man who thinks he's a fake prophet. Like, it's just not happening. I'm getting so off topic. So yeah, these churches are all super conservative Republicans, and they're trying to, I think the word I'm looking for is indoctrinate. That's why they kind of go after like super young people, because unfortunately young people tend to be more impressionable about things, and so they usually attack super young people so they can kind of convert them into this way of thinking. But yeah, they're just funding those super crazy religious Republicans. So if you see them on social media, and they always make, when I tell you they hire the best social media marketing people and they make the best content, it's all to just reel you in. It's all to reel you in. But in all honesty, they're terrible. It's like I told you guys. I told you guys, when you start researching things, most things are terrible or racist. So my second trending topic that did not make the cut was men behind podcast mic. I don't know what it is about a podcast mic that gives men like a false sense of like confidence, a false sense of self, but I hate it and I wish they would stop. But I will tell you what has like really been grinding my gears lately about like men who have podcasts, especially like older men. Now don't get me wrong, there's some men, there's these two like guys from the UK, they're black. Their podcast is fucking hilarious because they're not doing think pieces. They're not getting behind a podcast mic and being like, here's my think piece of the day, even though that's what I do. But you know, I'm not a misogynist. So there's these older men, and then they ask these younger women to come on the show, and they know these women do not agree with them. They know, and it's like, why are you getting a bunch of people in a room that do not agree with each other to just fight about your beliefs and whatever? But you as the older man are not going to try to see or change your opinion in any way, shape, or form. What? Why do you want someone to come on, but you are not going to actually have a productive conversation with that person? If you wanted to just talk nonsense and spew nonsense back and forth, there are plenty of pick-me ass females who will go on your show and do that with you. Why do you get these young girls who are so firm in their beliefs? Which, shout out to these girls for being very, very young and very firm in their beliefs. I respect that so much. But why do you get these young girls on the show and then just want to argue? Like, I don't think that's a productive conversation. I don't plan on having anyone on my show this isn't a debate team. It's a podcast. I guess that's the best way to put it. This is not a debate team. It's a podcast. So we're not what did debate teams go and do? I don't know. We're not at whatever debate teams go and do when you debate the other team. Okay. This is not that. This is a podcast. So why? It's just so unproductive. I'm seeing so many video clips of these girls with such rational arguments. They're really breaking it down for these men, and these men are just not getting it. And it's like, you're not getting it on purpose. You brought these women on your show to not get their point of view on purpose. And it's old and it's played out. Exit stage left. No one wants to see it. You're fogging up the podcast community, okay? Get it? Wrap it up. Thank you. So, next trending topic that did not make the cut this season. So, do you guys remember that lovely time on the internet when COVID happened and the Black Lives Matter movement happened and all the white influencers were like, you know what? I'm going to give a round of applause to those white influencers managers, because they were like, baby, this content has got to change. You got to do some different content, because if not, the girlies are going to come at your neck. Like, especially, and it sucks because I enjoy these YouTubers now. I enjoy these people now. And it's like, they had a podcast and they were like having all these like black creators on but they were having all these black creators on the podcast. They were not showing their spending as much as they were. I think they got a reality check that they couldn't be super tone deaf. But crazy thing about 2023 is people have been like, fuck it. The influencers have been like, fuck it. Okay. I did not share my splurges and my accomplishments in 2020. I sat in front of enough black people and talked to them in 2020. I'm not doing it anymore. Okay. I'm done. Okay. I'm not talking about the issues anymore. I don't care. And it's just really sad to see that. Like, I mean, we all knew it was performative, but you guys suck. But like I said, round of applause to their managers. Their managers are working double time to make sure they did not post anything like, oh, the girlies were on a chopping block in 2020. And it's like, you either posted all the Black Lives Matter stuff and you better not show that $1,000 bag you just bought. You better not show it. The managers were on top of the girlies in 2020. They need to do it again. They need to get back on top of them because they're out here losing their minds. I have one YouTuber in particular that I feel this way about. I'm not going to say any names though. And I don't think a lot of the people who listen to me would even know her or like follow her, but she was like I wouldn't say frugal, but like she really did not, like in 2020, I would say 2020 is like probably when I fell in love with her content. And like, I don't want to say she has a token black best friend, and that she used that to her advantage, but I definitely think it helped her a lot. And it just sucks to see because now she's like, yeah, this is expensive, but guys, I don't really know what to tell you. No, I'm not going to uplift Black voices. It's just crazy. Y'all suck. But yeah, those are my 3 trending topics that did not make the cut this season, mainly because they make me upset. So it's hard to like have a productive conversation when it makes you upset. So I said, let's scrap. But let's get into the episode now. So for this episode, I didn't really have a topic that I really wanted to cover this week. I thought it would just be a good time to just kind of talk about what I've learned these past 10 episodes and just go from there and just like a recap. Let's do a little recap. I think the biggest thing that I've learned this season is that I can stick to something. I've always struggled my whole life with kind of like bouncing around from things and never really being like, this is my hobby, this is what I enjoy, this is what I want to do. I've just kind of always been in limbo about stuff like that. So I think the biggest thing I've learned this season is that like, yes, this is my baby. I'm going to nurture it from the bottom up, watch it grow, and I'm going to stick to it. Like, I'll never stop doing this. I'm going to be hopefully 50 years old and whatever technology we have at that time, still making podcasts. So I think that was the biggest thing for me that I learned. I'm a Sagittarius, guys, and I have a Gemini rising. What they always say about these 2 signs is it's kind of hard to like set us down and just like do this and keep doing it. And it's something I've always struggled with, even like going to the gym. Do you guys want to know that my body is not set up to get runner's high? And you might think I'm just kidding. I'm just fucking with you. But I literally talked to my doctor about it, and she was like, the happy hormones are probably just not released when you work out. Everyone's different. Everyone's body reacts differently. Like, you know, she basically was like, you know, when you're depressed, like those hormones are not being produced like they should be. And so she was like, you probably just don't get serotonin, endorphins, and all that released when you work out. So it was always hard for me to stick to working out. Like, I always wanted working out to be my thing, but I get so exhausted afterwards. It literally physically drains me. I always see so many people say, just work out, just do the workout, you'll feel better afterwards. I'm not going to feel better afterwards. And it's been scientifically proven that I'm not going to feel better afterwards. So I literally have to do this just because I have to do this. And sometimes when stuff gets put on me like that, that's when I kind of like take a step back from it and I don't enjoy it anymore. Like, working is something I have to do to survive. Like, I have to do this. So I love my job, but once you put that I have to do this on there, it makes me want to back out. And so I have to do this. I don't want to fail at this. I want this to be a long-term thing. I said it last episode, I want to build this for us. So it's like, it was so refreshing to see that I have put that label of, you have to do this. Friday nights, you have to go record. Saturday and Sundays, you have to edit. You have to be more present on social media. You have to make TikToks. I've put all those halves on something and I'm still doing it, and it's so exciting because I've just never had that before. Even my favorite of hobby, like reading, like I love to read. That is like my favorite thing to do. And even then I'll get to the point where it's like, it starts to feel like a chore and I stop enjoying it, and so I'll stop reading for a very long time. Even that, and it's so crazy too, because I think now that I've seen that I can put that label of, you have to go do this, it has to be like a regimen, it has to be done, it's kind of made everything else fall into place. It's not working out, but we'll get there. But now it's like, okay, I have to be in this routine. Now I feel like my night's incomplete if I don't get in bed at a certain time and like read on my Kindle for a little bit. Like, now it has brought more structure in my life because I found something that I do just really enjoy and love doing, and it's not as daunting for me anymore. So that is like the biggest thing I've learned this season, is that I can be persistent, consistent, disciplined. I always say, like, sometimes my biggest fault is I don't have a sense of discipline sometimes, like, and that's like my biggest downfall, probably my biggest red flag too. But I think doing the podcast has taught me that I do have that, which is so refreshing, and I'm very happy about that. To go into then probably another big thing that I've really learned this season is that I don't want to say you'll never run across the finish line when it comes to healing. Like, you'll never do it. You'll never just run across the finish line and be like, I've done it. It's over. Like, I'm not going to have any more bad days. I'm going to feel great about myself. And I've talked about this on other episodes too as well. Like, this is not the only time I've discussed this. I think now, after going through and reliving and re-talking about a lot of things that I've been through, now sitting here in front of you guys talking about it, I'm so much better off than what I give myself credit for. I'm so much happier than I give myself credit for. And I've really started like speaking that into my daily life every single day lately. I think it kind of clicked for me like a couple weeks ago, where I'm like, I'm actually happy and content. I need to say that, and I need to express that to myself, because I I feel like I'm kind of like not living a lie, but I always felt like I just need to do more work. I need to do more work on myself. I need to be doing more work on myself. But am I not taking the time right now to enjoy the work I have done? Am I not being present in the person I have become? Because that's how it started to feel. Once I recognized that, that's when I was like, I'm so much happier than what I give myself credit for. I'm in such a better place mindset than what I give myself credit for. And I think it just took like seeing that like I can revisit old topics. I can have these conversations and not be like brought down by them. Of course, you will always have a bad day. You will always have a bad day. There will always be times that are a little bit harder than others. But I think when we put this like shiny little ribbon of healing, to heal would mean that at some point you are healed. If we're going off of definitions of words, that's what you would think, right? That like, oh, I'm healing to one point be healed. And I just don't think it's as black and white as it is. I felt like I had to put myself in a cave to kind of get there, but that's not true. Because I look back on so many moments when I was going through all this and I'm like, well, I wish you would have just enjoyed the moment. I wish you would have done more. I wish you wouldn't have been like down and sad. I wish you would have just been you and been happy that you're in this moment, like, or happy that you have gotten there. My biggest thing for me last summer was trying to redo a lot of stuff me and my ex had done together. Like trying to, the last time I went to the art museum was with my ex, so I'm gonna go with someone else now. The last time I went this was with my ex, so I'm gonna go with someone else now. And I was like, now looking at it, I do think it helped because, you know, I do live off of replacing bad memories with good memories. But now I'm like, I wish you just would have been in that moment with yourself and just, you know, I want to go here because I want to go here. I want to be happy in this at this place because I want to be happy at this place, you know? So I think that is the second biggest thing I've learned is that like you are happy. And you are good, and you don't have to constantly be chasing this sense of perfection with your emotions because emotions are not black and white. You have to live in this state of happiness that you have created for yourself. I have to live in the state of happiness that I've created for myself. I can't constantly be looking for the next thing that I need to be working on or doing or improving at. Like, I just need to live in this moment. I'm very thankful. Like, thank you guys because I'm doing all this to basically entertain you guys, I guess. I don't know, and help out. First time ever I plugged the podcast to somebody. So I have a close friend who's going through a very tough time. I have gone through that same tough time and I plugged the podcast. We were venting to each other and I was like, honestly, just listen to the podcast. I said to him, he probably did not want to hear this bullshit in that moment. But I said, you probably should just listen to my podcast. Like, I talked about how to heal and get through this a couple episodes ago. And it was like, you know, last week was like my healing journey and like how I got through it. I was like, you should just listen to the last episode of the podcast. Like, that'll get you right. Just follow my steps in the podcast. It was also weird too because it was like I was talking about a trauma experience and I was like, you know, I just wanted to look at him and be like, life sucks sometimes and then you die. Like, pull yourself back up. It's okay. It's okay. Like, people are gonna do you dirty. Another thing that I have learned is that people are gonna do you dirty. I don't know how I got this out of the podcast. I think it's just reevaluating and talking about things and like seeing people's responses to things. People are gonna do you dirty, but that literally has nothing to do with you. Nothing to do with you. It has nothing to do with me. Like, but I think that comes from a different thing that I had to learn is that people can love me but not support me. And that's okay. Like, I'm glad you love me. Support would be great, but at least you love me. And I think that is like, you know, people can be shitty to you and it has nothing to do with me. It has nothing to do with me that you love me but you don't support me. Like, a lot of the bad things that happen to you or like what you may deem as a bad thing that happens to you really has nothing to do with you. Like, when we really break it down, it really has nothing to do with you. All about the other person, but nothing to do with you. So that is definitely something I have taken away from doing this and talking about this. You know, when you sit up once a week and talk about the shitty things you've gone through, you kind of learn a lot about yourself. But we're going to move off of the deep stuff and I'm going to tell you some cool things that I've learned after doing this. Honestly, I don't know how I have friends. I don't know how you guys talk to me. So last week's episode, I ended recording at like 45 minutes. I edit out a good 10 to 12 minutes of just nothingness. Just uhs, deep breaths, Like, I need to get on a treadmill because why am I taking so many deep breaths like I'm huffing and puffing on this mic? Like, it's crazy. I just did it. Oh my God. I learned that oh my God, I just don't, like I said, I don't know how y'all listen to me. The ands, so's, buts. I'm gonna try, I don't know how to fix that, but I'm gonna like take speaking classes. I'm gonna put myself in speaking classes to fix that for next season. I'm gonna go to YouTube University for the next month and a half and how to speak better so I don't have to spend so much time editing out ums and ahs and buts and ands and so's. Because I never want to be one of those podcasters that wrote themselves a script. Like, I don't want to be following a script that I just read. That just seems so non-personal to have like a script plan out. I gotta get something together so I'm not saying and but so much. So like I said, I'm going to YouTube University and try to, learn how to speak. I think it's too because I was raised in North Carolina my whole life. I think it's just my southern accent. I just don't know how to talk, y'all. I just don't know how to talk. That's what it is. I'm going to dread listening to that back. Just know if the country accent is left in this podcast, just know I had a terrible time listening to that back. And then I also learned that I'm chronically online. But I think you couldn't do this. Like, what podcasters out there are not chronically online? Like, I think it just would kind of defeat the purpose. So that is what I've learned in 10 episodes of making a podcast for you guys. It has been so much fun. I am so baffled by how much this grew in 10 episodes. It's insane. I was like checking my analytics beforehand and it's like almost 500 plays. I need to get my followers up. Y'all, if you're going to listen to the podcast, follow. On Apple Music, you hit the little plus sign. On Spotify, I think it's a check mark or a follow. It might just be a follow button. But follow the podcast, y'all. So that's so easy. But then you get notified when I upload a new episode. Come on, guys. It's mind-blowing to see the growth in 10 episodes. I remember when I was like, I'm gonna announce on my birthday, my 29 birthday, because I was like, it gives me like a little measure, like, let's see where we are by 30, let's see what's popping off. So I remember being like, I'm gonna post it today that I'm starting a podcast, and I'm freaking the hell out because you never know, like, people, I'm sure there's someone somewhere that I probably went to high school with them that talks shit about me having a podcast. I'm sure there's somebody, and that's okay. I don't care. I don't care. Okay, save it for your mama. I don't care. So yeah, I remember just being so nervous, and now we're here, and now it's so many plays later, so many TikTok views later. That's insane. It's so amazing seeing it grow, and it's so crazy. I'm so low on the totem pole too, and I'm so excited about this. Just wait when we're at like 1,000 plays. We're gonna be having a freaking party in here, guys. But that comes with the biggest part of the episode that I have to say. Thank you. I can't thank my listeners, supporters, my little group of friends. I don't want to get emotional because y'all can't see me. So if I get emotional, it's kind of weird. I have the best friends. Like, they posted their story every single time I post an episode. They text me about it, call me about it. I am truly thankful. Like, the Lord, the universe, everybody, my ancestors, anybody who's up there looking out, blessed me with the best set of friends. And I just can't thank them enough for the constant support through 10 episodes. That's 10 Instagram posts, if not more, every time I posted something on my Instagram page for the podcast. That's amazing. I would not probably be at episode 10 and be so freaking hyped for season 2 if it wasn't for my best friends. I owe it all to them and my nephew. Well, then, about my nephew, he's constantly gonna be like, what's the next episode about? When are you recording? Are you editing? When are you editing? Shout out to him too. We're going to wrap things up and get right into our song of the week. So before we get into the song of the week, I have exciting news for you guys. So I am going to make a playlist on Apple Music and Spotify for all the songs of the weeks. So it'll have all my songs of the week for the last 10 episodes, but then it'll also have some of my favorite songs on there. So go check it out. But I will say, I'm an Apple Music girl. Okay, I'm sorry if I have to pay for Spotify to make this playlist to put it on here, because I have Spotify for free for posting my podcast. So if I gotta pay for Spotify to make a playlist for you guys, I'm gonna need y'all to start leaving some reviews and some ratings on Spotify, because I don't ever see none of them come through. There's always a little question that you can say, what did you think of this episode? There's always that, and I don't ever have nothing. I have lots of reviews. Well, not lots of reviews. I have lots of ratings. I have a good amount of ratings on Apple Music, Apple Podcasts, but Spotify, y'all need to get together. Okay, thank you. So I will be doing that, and then so when season 2 comes around, I'll add to it every week with a song of the week. But I just wanted to tell you guys that before we start it. I'll have them linked down below in the description of both of these episodes. I know where that's at on Apple Podcasts. So you literally click, if you just click on the episode, don't click play, you just click on the episode. You can scroll down and see the description and stuff. I don't know where it's at on Spotify. I'm so sorry. It's because I listen to podcasts on Apple Podcasts. Like, I'm a podcast listener, okay? Take a shot for every time I say podcast in this episode. But I just wanted to let you guys know that before I get into our song of the week. First song of the week, I'm taking it way back. We're throwing it back. I don't know when this song came out, to be completely honest. I think I was still in high school when this song came out. So 2012, it's a Drake song. I had to end the season on a Drake song. Come on, guys. But I wanted something that kind of like really spoke to like, we did this, we're doing this. Not we did this, we're doing this. So I wanted a song to speak to that. And so this song came on and I was like, wow, this is it. This is the song. It's Headlines. Headlines by Drake. One, if that song does not make you feel like you have your life together, I don't know what to tell you. Oh my God. I don't know why on Apple Music you can't look at any of Drake's lyrics. I think the part that kind of resonated with me the most is when he's like, I had someone tell me I fell off. Ooh, I needed that. Y'all, I fell off. In 2020. I fell off. All my Saturn return did was make me fall off. Okay. Off. But now I'm back on. Okay. And I needed that. I needed someone to tell me I fell off. I needed that. Now we're back. We're back bigger and better than ever. And that's just the mood. That's the mood for the rest of this year, for going into season 2 with you guys. I'm super freaking excited. So, song of the week is Headlines by Drake. And you know I had to say it. It's the last episode. I'm going to try to have a jingle for season 2. That's another thing that I was like, I got to take a break because I got to get a jingle. I can't talk about not having a song of the week jingle all season and then not come back next season with one. So, it's in the works. Again, guys, I just want to say thank you, especially if you made it to the end of the episode. Thank you. Thank you for listening to the last 9 episodes before this one. I'm still going to be creating content in the month that I am gone. So if you want to see that, please follow the Instagram. It's istm.podcast. Is that right? Yes, that's right. Do I know what it is? And then you can just search my name on TikTok to find me. I still go back and forth with creating a separate TikTok for the podcast. We'll see. Maybe if I blow up one day and it's like huge, then I will separate it out. When you get a management company, they're gonna make you separate it out. I'm not on that level yet. Okay, Dear Media. Who else? All I know is really Dear Media. Podcast One. If you're listening, sponsor your girl. Thank you guys again. Follow the Instagram page at istm.podcast. I'll still be posting like reels of me talking and saying too much. I'll still be doing that. I post TikToks all the time. I'm going, I'm getting there. I'm about to be viral on TikTok. I'm about to do it. Okay. So follow me there. You can just search my name. I'll pop right up how many people have the name Deidre. I think it says Deidre with like multiple A's. It's my TikTok name. If you get bored, listen to the other podcasts over again. If you get bored while I'm gone. Shout out to 10 episodes. Shout out to you guys for being amazing listeners and amazing supporters. And I always say I will see you guys next week, but I won't. Oh, this is weird. I will see you guys in a few weeks. So grab some shots, be safe, and I love you guys. Please do not forget to like, download, play on a super low volume multiple times, review 5 stars only, please and thank you. I love you guys. Be happy, be safe, and until next week, and I will see you again on Okay, I Said Too Much.